Hey guys, I'm Dr. Heath Lampy here today. I'm here with my patient Scott Ballard, and we're going to talk a little bit about Scott's rejuvenation that we did over 5 years ago, actually. Yeah. And so, for years, you were at the height of your successful career. You're working hard. You're in front of a lot of people every day. And did you feel like you had to hide your smile at all? Did you care at all about that at the time, or was it just something that you just kind of totally put in the back burner?
No, it had been an issue since I was probably in high school. It bothered me. My teeth had never been good, and then I didn't have all my teeth. They didn't come in, which is part of my family. But so it's always been, it was always on my mind. It was always something I was thinking about. And as my career grew and grew and grew, I was in front of more people, speaking more, teaching more, recruiting, training, doing all that, and it became a bigger issue to the point of my wife finally saying to me, "You need to do something about this." And
so you had kind of thought about it for decades, but it was her kind of pushing you.
She was the one speaking about it.
Okay. And
so we've been together 41 years, so that's not that unusual.
So we all need that balance in a relationship, the right person to kind of push us in that right direction. And so after decades of maybe silently thinking about it, she verbally said, "Hey, maybe you want to go see a dentist." And that's where you went and saw 4 or 5 guys. Yeah. And I know you've talked to me about, like, a lot of the people that you went to, it just didn't feel right. They said it was going to take years to get everything done. They didn't seem excited to get anything done, and it almost seemed like it was going to be like a perpetual purgatory where, is this ever going to end, basically?
Right. It seemed in some ways, leaving those other dentists, it seemed worse than my current condition, which is really strange to say, but it's like it wasn't worth it. It didn't seem like it was worth it to me to go through their 3-year program to redo my smile, and it became really kind of frustrating. Yeah. And my wife had done some research and had said, "Here's somebody else, and maybe this guy can help you." And so we...
Because the dentist that you've been to prior, I know there was a lack of enthusiasm from their part. And when you're going to restore somebody's mouth, you better be excited about it.
Right.
You're changing somebody's life, but it's a very personal, intimate experience where you've got to have a relationship. Yeah. I mean, so that's part of it. Yeah. And so they wanted to do braces for a couple of years. They wanted to do all these other things.
All kinds of stuff.
Bring in multiple practitioners, make it, so like we said, it's never going to end. Where I know how to do those sort of things. We know how to do braces. We know how to do all these other things. And we bring those specialists in when we need to. But I have a lot of patients where they don't want to go through 2 or 3 or 4 years of treatment and multiple procedures, multiple surgeries, multiple providers. They want it to be streamlined, predictable. So when you came in for the first time, we got x-rays. We looked at a scan of your mouth to make sure you had enough bone for implants. We then decided what type of sedation that you would need to make you comfortable for that appointment, where it was about 5 hours. Scott was missing some teeth, so we decided to do some bridges in the front, permanent porcelain bridges. He's missing some back teeth, so we had to do some implants. We also wanted the side teeth to match with some veneers, so we really redid all of his uppers. We restored some lower teeth that were missing, forever, basically. Yeah, forever, yeah. So we were able to do pretty much all the big work in one appointment with sedation.
Yeah, about 6 hours, I think I don't remember the day, which was my biggest hope and dream of the whole experience, was that I wouldn't be awake to remember it. Because I've had some really miserable dental experiences where I was awake. It was terrible.
So that was all of our prep work, and also making sure that we wanted to work together, because that's a big thing for me and my patients. Trust. And I don't see a lot of people in a day, because these type of things take time, and the relationships take time to build, where if I had to see 20 or 30 people in a day, I couldn't do this type of work. No. So I see 1 or 2. And that is very fulfilling for me. I get to see smile changes, and I get to go home happy too. So,
right.
Patient goes home happy, I go home happy. It's very, very wonderful.
One of the things I remember about that first appointment was not being rushed, because at the other dentist, it was a very rushed experience, and the time with the actual dentist that would have been doing the work was maybe 5 minutes. And then there was a chain of other people that you were sent through. And I think we spent a good half hour kind of just you talking me through what you thought would be best, how it could work, how you were going to do it, what your experience was around that.
And our timelines as well.
Yeah, and how long this would take to get done, and then the sedation thing, which I was super excited about because I just, because of my background not being sedated, I was like, wow, that's
no more bad experiences.
Yeah, I don't want to remember that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
And so we did, the sedation appointment where in one day we did permanent porcelain bridges on the top. We did veneers on the sides. We did actually put implants in the lowers as well.
Yep.
So that was our 5 to 6 hour appointment. Went home happy that day.
Yeah.
And then about a month later, we cemented every thing on top, the bridges, the veneers. And then 3 months later, we cemented the implant crowns on the lower because the implants take a little bit more time to heal. The bone, bone has to fuse around them, blood vessels, all that stuff. On a biological level, it just takes a few months for that to heal.
Sure.
And that's basically been all you've needed.
No and I will say this is important for people to understand. No complications. I followed the protocol afterwards, but no problems. And it was done, and it's been done since, and I've just performed greatly. I can eat anything. I've spoken in front of 10,000 people and not had to think about, okay, what is this looking like? Because we're all conscious of ourselves. And so that's just been a great gift to have that. And it really is a confidence booster for people, and I think for the majority of people.
Here we are 5 years later, and we're still celebrating that. And your new smile, where you're going in front of people, talking, doing your business, and you can say, I can smile. I can show you this, and I am proud of this. And it really did change my life.
And here's this other side of it that people need to understand is nobody's ever come up to me and said, okay, those aren't real, or that's not. Everybody doesn't believe that this was the makeover, the transformation.
We created it.
Right, we created, but it matches my face, everything about it works, and it looks so natural.
That's our mission, is to get the word out there. So what would you say to a potential patient who's nervous or had bad experiences or absolutely terrified of the dentist and also scared to smile? What would you say to them about what you've learned and what you found with us?
I respect, and I've experienced all of those things. First of all, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you have to start, and I understand. But I also know this to be true from my own experience, that it doesn't have to stay that way. And that there is a place here with you, Dr. Lampe, where all of that can be addressed, all of that can be put at ease, and a transformation can happen in a very short window of time, no matter how severe. And there's more severe cases than mine, I know that, but to me it was the most severe. And this can all be done in a timely manner and professionally, and you can have a great experience, which sounds weird from somebody that hated the dentist for 50 years, but it's the truth. You can have a great experience, and it's right here. And you're a real person that truly cares and is passionate about what you do. It is not a job for you or just something that you have to do. And that comes through. And I think if somebody will come in here and if nothing else, spend 15 or 20 minutes with you, I think they will get all that. And I think the rest of it will just be a great result.
Yeah, we want to give our best every day. And,
absolutely.
And I cannot do it alone. So.
Right. And you've got a great team.
Yes.
I shouldn't leave them out. I mean, because they're phenomenal at what they do, and they all are on the same page. And it's been one of the best adult decisions I've made in my life.
One of the big questions that every patient asks me when we spend time in the exam together, that 30 minutes, is, how much is this going to cost me? And when my patients need a lot of work. Many patients haven't been to the dentist in 10, 20, 30 years, and their mouth needs a complete overhaul rejuvenation. So when they ask me, how much is this going to cost, I tell them it's going to be a serious financial investment. It's probably going to cost as much as a car. And you can choose any color you want, as long as it's white.
White cars only. I love that.
So in consideration of that financial investment, because I know you asked me that question too, and now 5 years later, how do you feel afterwards about making that financial investment and restoring your smile, restoring your teeth, restoring your confidence. How do you feel 5 years later after making that investment?
So my first gut reaction to this is I wish I would have done it sooner and found you earlier in the process, because it's very difficult to put a number on confidence, on being able to smile, on not having that holding you back or worrying about the way that you look. I think that's a big thing. Self-image, that was the roadblock there. So what that's worth to somebody is everything, because it removes that one thing that was in the way. And so when I think about the investment, I think about, I've made a lot of investments. I've built some companies. I work with a lot of people that invest a lot of money in their business and in their life and different things. And I always go, your teeth go with you everywhere.
Yes.
Right. And so one of the most important investments, and right now in the world today, we're talking a lot about self-care, people taking care of themselves so that they can do their work better. And one of the ways of doing that is to get your smile, to have the smile that you've always wanted. And you're going to look at that every day, and so is everybody else that you're interacting with. So, on the scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11, because it is always part of you. Now, I can make an investment on a commercial property, but I'm not going to be living there, being there, involved in it all the time. But I am going to be with myself and know how I look all the time and how that plays out into my life. And so in that sense, I mean, it's very significant. And, I would have people think about it that way. Are you investing in yourself for the best experience you can have as you go forward in your life? Yeah. And the smile is a big part of who we are and what our identity is. Like, people know you by your smile and by those expressions. And so I think that's really critically important. And today we live in a world where everybody's on media. Yeah. Everybody's on social media. Everybody's on some show, whatever. And so it even becomes a bigger part of who you are. And so why not make that investment in yourself and get the greatest return out of that? And my wife, I should say that too. You have to think about the other person. If you have a partner or a wife or whatever in your life, I think she's really enjoyed this more than I would have thought.
Wow.
Because she every once in a while she'll turn to me and she goes, "Man, your smile is great.
Looks
you look great." Everybody likes that. I mean, everybody wants those kind of comments.
I look at my before and after photos a lot, and most of them are day one before we do anything, and then it's usually 3 to 4 months later. And not only do my patients, their smiles look different in the photos, but all of them looks different. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's a new take on life. It's a new zest, and it's they bring the passion back.
It speaks to the self-image. Yeah. How we really feel about ourselves always reveals itself, and most apparently through the smile, through the facial expressions, right? And so that comes out, and I think it's powerful. And it's even been powerful for my own kids. I have adult kids, and they've all commented multiple times, "Boy, Dad, that looks great." And they knew me before, and so that it's just fun to see that kind of response. And I think investing in yourself for something like this is always a great investment, and something that you should do whatever you can to make happen.
So there's a lot of self-confidence benefits from the procedures that we do, the rejuvenation, but there's also health benefits too. And that's something where we weren't taught that in dental school. And I've been to hundreds and hundreds of hours of education the last 12 years since the end of dental school. And nowhere in that education has anyone ever talked about the health benefits of what I do. And that's something I've had to find out firsthand, where I have so many patients where we get all the infections out of their mouth, and they look better, obviously, but they feel better because their body has been fighting all these infections for so long, and now they don't. And so your mouth, you had a couple broken teeth in there that were broken for a long time. And so we got those out, put implants in, and that really helped your health as well.
Yeah, overall, yeah. I think the general well-being is something, and then people specifically have problems, whatever that may be, that you would address on that too. But that's another part of the return on investment. You not only get your smile and your mouth and your dental health back, but your whole body becomes healthier and functions at a higher level, which we all want.
Yeah. More and more studies are being done on the health impacts of the bacteria in the mouth and how they get to the rest of the body and how they affect the rest of the immune system, how it affects chronic inflammation. And so if we can get inflammation out of the mouth, if we can get infection out of the mouth, the rest of the body will be healthier. You're at less risk for diabetes, less risk of first heart attack, less risk of stroke. We're just really finding the tip of the iceberg right now about what these bad bacteria in the mouth can do when they get to the rest of the body, so that it is so imperative to keep the mouth healthy. Not only, because you're going to look better, but you're going to live longer, you're going to feel better.
That's just another reason to say, hey, let's go ahead and get this done and be better in every respect. Not only how we feel about ourselves, but physically how we feel, and then how we show up in the world every day. It's huge.
Scott, thanks so much for coming out 5 years later and sharing your story. It's nice to see these success stories. It makes me feel really good about what we're doing as a team here and the journey that we're following and how we're helping people. So thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And for all that you've done and what you've delivered to me. You've over-delivered, and it's changed my life. And for everybody out there, come and see Dr. Heath and get your transformation.